The location where indigenous artifacts conveniently appeared on the Coastal GasLink pipeline route is almost certainly not the primordial location of these objects. In an embarrassing report released Friday by the BC Oil and Gas Commission, quote, "The soils upon which the artifacts were found would not typically contain any such cultural artifacts, and this was likely not their original location." Surprise, surprise. The anti-oil and gas activists who allegedly found two lithic tools have some tough questions coming their way. I'm in the process of finding out exactly who it was that filed the notice with the Coastal GasLink Pipeline Company and the Government of BC, which triggered sections of British Columbia's Heritage Conservation Act, effectively stopping one of the few lifelines for Canada's energy sector in its tracks. Coastal GasLink, you might have heard of it, is the 670-kilometer pipeline that would carry Canadian natural gas from Dawson Creek all the way to Kitimat, British Columbia. As expected, eco-radicalists are trying every trick in the book to keep Western Canada's energy sector gasping for air. First, it started with an illegal blockade at the arbitrarily located Unistoten camp. The Tides and Forest Ethics-funded fake First Nation known as the Society of the Wet'suwet'en was self-admittedly behind this blockade. The mainstream media, of course, lent legitimacy to this gang by calling them a real registered First Nation. That couldn't be farther from the truth. As I reported in an earlier story, the CBC lied about them to make them and their message sound real. Now, to be clear, there is a Wet'suwet'en First Nation, but this was not them. In fact, the chief of the real Wet'suwet'en First Nation signed on to the Coastal GasLink agreement, bringing in millions of dollars for her First Nation. She thought it was a great project that would benefit her Aboriginal constituents, and that was that, or so they thought. Instead of listening to the legitimate elected female leader of the Wet'suwet'en, 5 men running the Wet'suwet'en activist company bulldozed over Chief Karen Ogden's wishes and set up this illegal blockade. Well, it turns out it wasn't just the one woman that these fellas bulldozed over. The Globe and Mail reported that these thugs running the Wet'suwet'en company revoked the hereditary titles of 3 women who supported the pipeline deal. These men are just like their friend Trudeau. No woman is going to get in the way of progress, are they? And if a woman dares question the authority of these men, they'll destroy her. Fake First Nation, fake feminists too. The energy industry in Western Canada is being suffocated. It started in 2008 when a pipeline explosion was set off by a domestic terrorist very close to where the Coastal GasLink pipeline is being built today. Since then, these radicals have tried killing the industry every way they can. Lately, anti-oil activism in British Columbia has corrupted local Indigenous groups with foreign cash, manipulating them to set up blockades and legal action to stop the pipelines at any cost. As the 670-kilometer pipeline inches closer and closer to coming online, I would not be surprised at all if these cowardly attempts become more and more desperate and more dangerous. For the Rebel.media, I'm Keean Bexte. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our coverage. You're not going to see anything like this on the mainstream media. In fact, they're lying for the other side. If you want to stay up to date with the real news, the real side of the story, please like and subscribe to us here on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook.